In the coldest, highest, and most isolated place on Earth, a man died. And for 6 months, no one could explain why. Out here, there are no police, no hospitals, no rescue flights when the sun disappears. There is only the ice and the 50 people trapped on it with you. On May 11th, 2000, inside the South Pole Station, astrophysicist Rodney Marks began to die. He staggered through the corridors, vomiting blood, his eyes going blind. By the next day, he was gone. At first, they said it was natural causes, but when the autopsy finally happened, the truth shattered everything. Rodney Marks didn't die by accident. He was poisoned. 1 frozen station, 50 suspects, and a killer who had nowhere to run. To understand this murder, you first have to understand the prison where it happened. This is the Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station. In the year 2000, it wasn't the modern facility you see today. It was a geodesic dome buried under the snow, a tiny bubble of warmth on a planet of ice. Every year in February, the last flight leaves. The station goes into winter over. For the next 8 months, the temperature drops to -100 degrees. The sun sets and doesn't rise again until September. Once those doors close, no one gets in, and absolutely no one gets out. Rodney Marks was one of the 50 souls who stayed behind. He was a brilliant young astrophysicist from Australia. 32 years old, funny, charismatic. He was the glue that held the crew together. He loved the stars. He came to the bottom of the world to study the universe, not to die. But on the morning of May 11th, the nightmare began. Rodney woke up feeling weak. He told the station doctor he was having trouble seeing. He thought it was just a bad reaction to alcohol. He was wrong. His body was already shutting down. Over the next 24 hours, Rodney's condition didn't just get worse. It became torture. He was vomiting blood. His whole body felt like it was burning from the inside out. Dr. Robert Thompson, the station's only physician, was helpless. He had no advanced lab equipment, no way to run toxicology tests. He treated Rodney for alcohol withdrawal, then for anxiety, but nothing worked. The poison was already in his blood. Then, the cardiac arrests began. 1, 2, 3 times his heart stopped. For 45 minutes, the doctor and crew performed CPR, desperate to bring their friend back. But at 6:30 p.m. on May 12th, Rodney Marks took his last breath. He died essentially cut off from the rest of humanity. The station plunged into shock. They didn't have a morgue. They had to store his body in the freezing food locker. Among the frozen vegetables and supplies lay the body of the astrophysicist, waiting for the sun to return. For 6 long months, the crew had to live with the body of their friend in the freezer, walking past that door every day to get food. Finally, in late October, the sun returned. The first flight landed, and Rodney was flown home to New Zealand for an autopsy. Everyone expected the cause of death to be natural. Maybe a heart defect, maybe a stroke. They were wrong. The findings were baffling. Rodney Marks didn't die of natural causes, and he didn't die from bad liquor. He died from acute methanol toxicity. Methanol. It's not alcohol you drink. It's an industrial solvent, paint thinner, cleaning fluid. It is deadly poison, and it wasn't a trace amount. Investigators found 150 milliliters in his system. That's about a wine glass full of pure poison, enough to kill him twice over. The police realized this wasn't just a tragedy anymore. Rodney had no reason to commit suicide, and he was too smart to drink cleaning fluid by accident, which left only one terrifying possibility. Someone at the station gave it to him. The New Zealand police launched a homicide inquiry immediately. But they hit a wall made of international politics and bureaucracy. The station is run by the United States. Rodney died on what is technically American soil, but his body was in New Zealand. The U.S. authorities, specifically the National Science Foundation, were strangely uncooperative. They refused to hand over internal reports. They wouldn't let detectives fly to the station to interview witnesses. By the time investigators could ask questions, 6 months had passed. The trail was ice cold. The crime scene had been cleaned. Trash had been incinerated. Evidence was gone. And the 49 other people who were there, they had scattered across the globe. When police sent out official questionnaires to the crew, 13 of them refused to answer completely. Why? What were they afraid of saying? Police found that the methanol was kept in a secure supply room. Only a handful of people had access. Rodney wasn't one of them. So who opened that door? Who poured the poison? Today, the death of Rodney Marks remains the only murder in the history of the South Pole. The coroner's report states clearly, unlawful killing, but no one has ever been charged. The 49 people who wintered with him have moved on. They are professors, doctors, scientists. Maybe one of them is watching this right now. Was it a prank gone wrong, a jealous lover, or a moment of pure cabin fever madness? We will probably never know. The perfect crime doesn't require a master plan. It just requires the perfect place, a place where the law cannot reach you, where the cold buries everything. What do you think happened to Rodney Marks? Tell us your theory in the comments below. For more stories from the bottom of the world, subscribe to Antarctica Dark, because the truth is frozen.